50% gone. Here we are.
Wow. You have to drink all of that, Mark.
Arriving at address 7855, on right.
Welcome back to the Happy Hour, guys, and welcome to Versailles, Kentucky, the home of Woodford Reserve Bourbon.
We are here with
Chris Morris.
Chris Morris, and your title here at Woodford Reserve?
Master Distiller.
That's a job people dream of.
It is a great job.
You consider yourself lucky every day when you get up?
Oh, yes. Very lucky, very blessed.
You said that Woodford Reserve is a modern bourbon, so tell us a little bit about what you just said about it.
It's a contemporary bourbon based on very old processes. And what we have done is reconfigured those classic processes at this historic distillery.
Now, just to be clear, they've been making whiskey on this site since 1797, and this historic building was put up in 1838. However, this property was in mothballs until 1993, when Brown-Forman, the company that owns Woodford Reserve, purchased it, refurbished the distillery, and then introduced the Woodford Reserve brand into the market in 1996. And we're very glad they did.
A bourbon whiskey that, by design, malt drinkers, cognac drinkers, craft beer drinkers, and people who enjoy fine wines and fine spirits in general are going to like.
You're the only bourbon that is triple distilled.
Yes. Yes, if you look at the distillery, that two-story stone distillery could be in Scotland, it could be in Ireland, because when this distillery was built in 1838, it was a pot still distillery. We have converted it back from a column still distillery to a pot still distillery as part of that goal of making this elegant contemporary whiskey.
So, the difference between a pot still and a column still. This can get pretty complicated, but the difference basically is this. With a pot still, you distill one batch of liquid at a time. With a column still, you distill continuously. And each different process obviously has a huge impact on the taste of the spirit you're making. Pretty much all stills are made with copper because of how the copper interacts with the alcohol. And here's a really cool picture with a pot still on the left and a column still on the right. It's beautiful, huh? All right, back to Woodford.
And I feel like I'm in the old country right now because I am part Scottish. And the last time I was in Scotland visiting Scotch whiskey distilleries, we saw a lot of these pot stills. Much older style, and as you can see, 1, 2, 3, triple distillation.
Now, they're very hands-on at the Woodford facility. As you saw in the opening, you can actually roll a barrel and pour product into a glass and taste it. And as we know at the Happy Hour, guys, it's all about the tasting. What do you think, Mark?
That's delicious.
It was interesting.
So during your tour at Woodford, you will undoubtedly have a look at the open cypress fermentation tanks, which is a Kentucky tradition, and also you'll stand in the rack house and smell that aroma of that bourbon aging. But to get one of their signature experiences from Woodford, you're going to have to go somewhere else.
The Kentucky Derby's been run since 1875. Never had an official bourbon until they invited us to partner with them in 1999, our third year of operation. And we are the first and only bourbon to ever be endorsed by the greatest horse race in the world.
And when you're there, if you have a little extra cash burning a hole in your pocket, you could get
a $1,000 Mint Julep. All the proceeds go to equine-based charities. So you get a fabulous cup. And this is a 24-karat gold-plated cup. You get a sterling silver sipping straw, a little sterling silver Woodford Reserve bottle on it. Comes in a handsome oak case made from Woodford Reserve used barrels. We brought ice from the Arctic Circle, from the Antarctic, from the Bavarian Alps. We've had rare sugar from an Australian organic sugar cane, mint from Ireland. And you can buy it one day a year, one place on earth, Kentucky Derby Day at Churchill Dam.
And they don't just focus on cocktails at Woodford, they love to cook with bourbon. Recently, they gathered some very well-known chefs, put together some great recipes, and released a book called A Journey with Bourbon. Look for it on Amazon.
Cook with bourbon and see what that can do to increase your possibilities in the kitchen.
And we will always have some neat recipes on the Woodford Reserve website, and we are changing these periodically. As the seasons change, recipes will change.
And while the Woodford Reserve Spirit is by far their #1, Chris is also experimenting and making what he's calling the Master's Collection. Some quote-unquote expressions of Woodford that are variations on some themes. You're gonna love them.
There's always innovation from the Master's Collection down to the culinary aspects. You never know what's happening.
Chris, thank you so very much.
It's been great to have you guys.
What a pleasure. Versailles,
Versailles,
Kentucky.
Woodford County, Kentucky.
French don't say it right.
If you ask for Versailles, they'll give you directions to someplace different.
And it'll be a long way from here.
That's right.
How's that smell, Mark?
Oh, I'm moving in.